All right. I'm going to, do I press the share screen button right now?
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm going to press this. My name is Rangy. My name is Rangeli Garcia. They call me Rangy for short. And I am an illustrator. I've been drawing since I was 2 years old. I draw cartoons. That's like my favorite thing to draw in the world is cartoons. I'm going to share with you just a quick little presentation that I made. My passion is creating and communicating with art. So that's like my main thing to do is just, creating with art. I do comics, animation, storyboards and stuff like that. I studied, my high school was the Central de Artes Visuales. It's a very, it's a great high school here in Puerto Rico that it's art focused. And then I went and got my BA in animation from the Art Institute of Fort Lauderdale in Florida. After I graduated, I came back to Puerto Rico and I started my, ¿cómo se dice? My career in advertising. Because in Puerto Rico, the animation industry, even though I studied animation and my whole life was about animation and cartoons and storyboarding and stuff like that, well, when I came back to Puerto Rico, there is no animation industry here. So like the only work that I could do that used my talents, well, it was advertising. As you can see in the slide here, it says that I'm dead inside. Along the years, I worked in a bunch of things that are part of pop culture. Especially, I have shaped Puerto Rico's pop culture a lot with the things I've done professionally. Like for example, I've made mascots for big universities. I worked on this TV show, these cartoons that you see here in the bottom, that with the frog and everything. It's a very famous cartoon. It's like it's one of the most famous kids show in Latin America and in Puerto Rico and the Caribbean. It's called Atención, Atención. I worked like 5 years for them, with them in house. I was the art director there. During my time with them, I won five five Emmys, five Emmys for animation, for writing, and for graphic art and art direction. So it's the place where I really grew. Like this, being the art director in this animation studio, it helped me achieve many things. Like I just didn't design these characters. I also like made the voices. I wrote the stories. I animated. I wrote music for the show. I made ¿cómo se dice? Theater plays with the whole brand. It was something very amazing. And during that time, I also started creating other IPs, other intellectual properties on my own. So I just started developing them in my free time. So like my day job is just being an artist, but my free time, my passion is storytelling, because that's like my biggest strength. And here I'm going to show you some stories that I've made in comics. This one was called Lollipops. It was a comic that I had that it published in the national newspaper, El Nuevo Día. It's like the biggest newspaper in Puerto Rico. Like 2006 to 2007, I published every single week in the newspaper, and this was it was a little bit hardcore for the usual newspaper audience. So I didn't last that long, as you can see. But the story of Lollipops, it was based on my family, which is like divorced mom with her 3 kids and living life as a middle class family in Puerto Rico. I also made this other comic. This was a comic where I wanted to criticize like how people sometimes like they hide who they really are with fashions and stuff. So this comic specifically, it was called Shikimange. I know in English it might sound like Shikimange, but it was Shikimange. It was going to be a satire of anime and manga, but I would mix it with Puerto Rican culture. This one was a comic that I published with my husband in 2010. It was called Saving Point. It's a story about these adventurers in a fantasy world. It's a comedy story. These adventures in a fantasy world, and they do work for hire for money, of course, and treasure. And one day they just find something that will change their lives. This is very lighthearted story, but what I liked about this one is that what I want to do with this story was like a pay an homage to my favorite video games and role-playing games like Final Fantasy and Dungeons and Dragons. De la Nada is my biggest project to date. I started as comics. I just started making comics called De la Nada, which literally translates to out of the blue, out of nowhere. And these comics, out of nowhere, they just dealt with themes that surrounded me. Like I wanted to make fun of the latest movie. I made a De La Nada comic about this. Until one day I started realizing that politics also surrounded my life and it affected my life, even if I didn't care about politics. And that's when it exploded. Like a lot of people just wanted to see more, and they started laughing because what I thought about the politicians of the country was the same thing that they thought, but they didn't know how to express it. And because I was expressing it with cartoons and comedy, well, it worked. So today, De La Nada is it has like a bunch of fans. I've had millions of views. My videos have millions of views. I've interviewed important politicians in this cartoon show. It's a cartoon show. It's like The Daily Show, which is a political satire show, but in cartoons. In Puerto Rico, last year, 2019, in the summer, there was a huge movement of protest where the whole country united, and we ousted our governor. His name was Ricky Rosselló, and the movement was called Ricky Renuncia. O sea, Ricky, get the heck out of here. And it was, to me, it was amazing that, look at this, look at all these people that drew my characters. They use my cartoons and my characters, the pigeon, they use my cartoons in their protest art. And that was like mind-blowing to me, because that was the moment where it dawned upon me that, wow, all these years, like these 4 years I've been making De La Nada, they actually, they did make an impact. And just like knowing that these cartoons had this power to fuel people and to inform them, that was amazing. And I think it's something that I will carry for my whole life. This is goals. I wasn't even expecting this at all, but it was pretty cool. And this is the last one I've been working on. It's called Non-Pack. It's a comic that I've been working with these characters since I was in elementary school. I think they've been evolving with me my whole life, and now I just decided to actually make it a comic. So this story of Non-Pack is one that I really love. It's a very crude story about love, relationships, family, religion, crime, everything, violence, sex, everything in society, but through the eyes of animals. And it's like I sometimes pitch this story as, imagine if Zootopia from Disney was directed by Quentin Tarantino, and also Quentin Tarantino is a Puerto Rican woman. So yeah, basically the end is follow your dreams or something like that. And of course, I have the last slide that is like this. These are my social media accounts. You can follow me at Rangy everywhere, like Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Rangy. This is where I post my personal art. You can follow at Nonpack Comic, which is the actual comic of Nonpack, or you can follow me at De La Nada PR, which is the political part. De La Nada is in Spanish, but you know I talk about politics all the time. If you want to see how I do things, you know, well, that's the one to follow. But for art, I would just tell you this one, Rangy, which is like my main one.
Cool. So are you gonna show the comic? Yeah, I want to see it. Because I want to see how do you take the comic and make it an animatic, like.
Yeah, in this case, it's really simple in this case because I made this particular issue thinking that it was like a movie. So instead of like going like an average comic, a comic book, you will see that every page has different sized panels, like depending on what you want to portray. The time that you want the person to spend on each panel is different. You make a different composition with different panel size and stuff. But with Nonpack #1, I wanted to try this technique of making it look like a movie. So every single page only has 3 panels, and all panels are like a widescreen format, as you can see. So this is one page up to here. This is one page. Another page. See, it's like only three panels. For example, I really like this sequence. This sequence is when they meet Molchete, which is this mole that has a machete. Molchete. So this is the sequence where they meet Molchete, and I really like the way that the camera moves. Like for example, here we have. Can you see my mouse? Can you see my?
Yeah, we can.
Okay, we're here in this first panel. You can see the camera is from the point of view of Karen. That's our main doggy right here. And the camera is in a worm's eye view. So Molchete looks imposing with his machete. Then we change to a close-up shot of him with the machete. And you can see that it has a drop of blood, so it looks menacing. And then next shot is a longer shot where we can see their bodies and everything and the action. You can clearly see the action of him, boom, just swinging that machete. And she's going like, yay, going back. Then we change. Next shot is the camera. It's positioned in a way where you can see her running away, scrambling away, and actually you can see another guy that got his fingers cut off in another panel, like here. This poor guy got his fingers cut off right here. So here in this new panel, we can see him in the background, like, and you can see that Molchete is going to cut her. So you have this information, like the drama that's going to happen. So next shot, it's her with his shadow on top of her. Like you can feel that tension because you're building it up. You're building the tension now with the drama that he's coming for her. And you can see her hand here. She's like tapping around frantically for something to hit him back. And you see there is a brick. So next shot, tukidi, the brick hits his face. And next shot, you can see him here like, come back, you slippery fuck. And she's running away. And then we can see her, she got away from him. And then there's another character that he's the one who took my money. And then she's like, okay, let's see how he does against a whole pack. And then you have the classic shot that, okay, let's do this. All right, let's go. And they all dogpile on him, and they start beating him up. And there's another dog that bites him in the arm. The guy just swings his machete, and he swings and he hits one of the guys. And the guy is like, oh my God, blood. But then you close up on his face, and you can see his reaction to the blood, which is not what you expect. It's like, this is so cool. And then we jump to another shot where we can see the poor Molchete guy is on the floor, and Karen has him pinned down, and she's like, "It's over, bro. Just give it up." But you can see in the background the other character, Yuki. He's coming with his blood on his face. It's coming. So, bad. Next shot, you got the pink, and this other shot. I decided not to show what he's doing, but you can see the other character's reaction. So you can know he got really fucked up right here with the bang, 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 bang. And then we see Karen stopping him, like, okay, yeah, and you don't really need to show what he did to poor Moschete, but you can imagine. So I really like this whole sequence. After this, obviously the comic continues, and we have other shots. We introduce another new character that's going to kick their asses, which is the Honey Badger. Which you saw in the animatic.
Yeah, I just want to point out that this is for the class. Like, do you see, like, it's not just the drawings, right? Like, when you're explaining a sequence, right, and when you're like, you have to get into the character too. You see the way that she's explaining it, and she's getting like, like all this, excitement, and you have to, when you're showing a storyboard or an animatic, you have to express what these characters are feeling too. I just want everybody to see like the way she's doing it, because she's an expert, right? And not only that, like when you look at the whole sense of the comic, right, she's using only like black and white and some red just to like pop some of the sounds out. It's simple, but if it really focuses on how can this be turned into an animation, right? Because that's the way she plans things, right?
Yeah.
I just wanted to say that.
You said everything. I'm just trying to find like
yeah, I mean, I feel like we have like, like there's people that have questions. So if you have a website, can you show it to us? Like, because they really like to see.
Do I have a website? Like, this is my my Instagram. I post like a bunch of art here. I post a lot of non-pack behind the scenes here, and sketches. Like, here's a behind the scenes of my thumbnails. The thumbnails I drew for the last episode, like like the sketches and stuff. Here is like ¿cómo se dice esto? This is like character design. This clothing is not in the comic though. This is like the character design for Karen. She's the main character. I have like animations and stuff. What is this? And well, you can just find everything right here in Red Rangy, and the comic per se is in non-pack comic. Non-pack comic. Let me see. Yeah. The actual comic is here in non-pack.
Look at all those slides.
Go to the first slide, and you can just start reading from the beginning. I also put up like characters, like character bios.
Can you talk about the pigeon, the motif of the pigeon in your artwork?
I just love pigeons. That's it. I love pigeons. I think they're fluffy, fat, soft sacks of cute. Everything I do, I really try to include as something of what makes me, because otherwise it would be boring to me. I need something to, like, De La Nada. It's the life in Puerto Rico, so it has a lot of things, and it has my pets. Like, all the characters of De La Nada are my pets. And non-pack, it's also based on like a mix of life in Puerto Rico and mixed with the United States. It's like a mix, but also there are these characters that are based on many things, and they all have something of myself in them.
Hi, Rangy. This is Yos Marilyn. Nice to meet you. The question that I have for you is, did you ever study combat fighting? Because with non-pack, you have like a lot of fighting scenes and you're really good at like transitioning it. Or is that something that you just picked up like as an illustrator, as an art director over the years? Yeah.
That's a super cool question. I took Taekwondo, but it was when I was a girl. You know, it was when I was little, and I only got to blue belt. So I'm not like a black belt in
I
Taekwondo.
only got to
I know
do
like the basic, but you know, just reference, a lot of reference. I use a lot of reference. I see a lot of videos. Like I actually there's a scene. Let me see if I can. Let me see if I can actually show you. There's like there's scenes that I actually built based on seeing videos. I had to research. Oh, this drawing, for example, is based on a Taekwondo kick that I used to perform very well when I was little, but not anymore. But it's like a kick. I had to recorded myself making the kick, not as high, not half as high as the drawing. But you know, I use this reference. There was a. Let me see if I can find it. There was like a sequence of, yeah, I think it was this one. Like I wanted to know how would you unpin yourself from this situation, and there was. Let's see, what's this one here? Yeah, like here you can see like how he takes her, that she's the one that has the upper hand, and he flips it on her. Win. With this was actually, you know, I had to look at videos, judo videos, and just like grappling moves and stuff like that. So never be afraid of reference is your friend. It's great because it helps you get, you know, the anatomy right, the position right. It's really good. Like and then you can do things from your mind. You know, the more reference you use. Like for example, I've done a bunch of life drawings since, you know, since my college days and high school days. Remember that I went to the art high school where we used to do life drawing there, and like for example, these ones I made these drawings. They are, you know, from the mind. Like I didn't need to look for a reference to know the anatomy. This one, I think I actually did use a reference, but you know, like it helps you. It really helps you having uh, life drawing and reference. These ones also were from my mind, but like these ones are actually life drawings. You know, these ones were like I don't remember, like 5-second drawing or 10-second drawings that you have to draw really quickly, and the model was, you know, through a Zoom meeting. She used post like 10 seconds, and we have to draw her very fast. And this helps you to lock in those uh, poses. It helps you to make your mind, use your mind as a camera. See, these ones are also from that drawing, live
Oh,
drawing.
there's one of those this Saturday. I'm totally going. Yeah.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
they're very good. Yeah, this one's 20 seconds. So I just try to just clean lines, just take the gesture. This one were 2 minutes, so I just wanted to, more than getting the anatomy right, I just wanted to get the feeling right. 2 minutes, 2 minutes. Yeah, just I like this one because I like the shapes of the silhouette. You know, like the the pose. I like the pose. This was I wanted to capture her mood. This was 5 minutes. 5 minutes. I wanted to capture more her mood. 5 minutes to also just want to capture more of her likeness in this one, and this one too. You know, but it really helps. I really recommend life drawing, and always reference.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
First of all, your illustrations and animations and everything is so amazing, and you know, you really give like the most emotion and action out of your still images, which is amazing. I was wondering what tool you use to illustrate, and also what tool you use to animate, especially with like short ones compared to longer ones.
Great question. I used to use Photoshop a lot, but then the iPad da, 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 came into my life. And then this baby, look at the pigeon. This baby right here, it changed my life because there's an app, the iPad, is called Procreate, and I love it. Procreate, it's like my favorite thing in the world. I use it to do most everything. Like right here, everything is made in Procreate. Everything, you know, even these ones that look like more complex with the colors and everything. That's Procreate. Like I don't use Photoshop anymore, just for my day job, which is graphic design. Well, I use Photoshop and Illustrator, but for my illustrations right now, I'm 100% Procreate. The tools work for what you want to make them work. You know, Storyboard Pro, you can use Photoshop, you can use Procreate. Those are my favorite. I edit in Adobe Premiere, and the sound I used to record all my sound in Audacity. What I do is I actually record my voice, and I do all the voice acting in my phone, like on my iPhone, on the voice memo app, and then I transfer it to the computer and to Audacity, and then I clean it up in Audacity and stuff like that. And then I transfer that sound to Storyboard Pro, and I animate it, you know, based on the sound.
I have questions.
Go ahead.
So, I really like your works. It's really funny. And how do you choose the color for your the comic or the cover?
How do I do the colors?
Yeah.
Like what's your technique? Like, yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's Procreate. I paint in Procreate. I don't like my technique. Actually, is just like, for example, for this comic specifically, the final comic. Let me see if I have at least one page. The final comic is actually going to be colored, and it's not gonna be in black and white like as you see here. It's gonna be colored, and one of my best friends is coloring. Her name is Paula Marillo. This is one of the pages she colored, and it looks really good. And she's also painting it in Procreate. She's imitating my style, which is very sketchy. Like I want this whole comic to look like very sketchy. So the technique for painting like this is really like you know, I try to go from the background to the foreground. So I just look for like the base color of the whole mood, and then like for example this one, well I knew it was going to be red, so I just painted the whole background red, and then I just started thinking, okay, where does the light come from? So it comes from this part, where it comes from here. So you know, I just paint the flat colors first, and then I start blocking in the shadows, the light, and then you go from broad to detail. So from big to small. The last thing is like the small highlights, the tiny blood. If you go to the Numpack Instagram, you can click on this highlight. It's called Comic Magic, and here I have like process videos where you can see how I made all these pages, and you can actually see some funny things. Like I actually write the script right there instead of actually making a script like you're supposed to. It's just because I'm a storyboard artist, you know, through and through. So like I sometimes don't even think of a script in a scripted way. You know, I just actually draw the script, and I wouldn't recommend it because I have lost so much time. You know, like I draw something and then it has changes, and then like, but you know, that's like my process. Here it is. Here you can see like the process of one of my like a full-fledged art. I first I sketch it. Get Up 10 is a Cardi B song, so this picture was inspired by that song. I ink it. After inking comes the painting part, which, as you can see, first I go with the background first, just to get the mood and everything. Then I start painting her, like the base colors, and then I do the lighting effects. And in the end, just, you know, the bells and whistles right there. So you can check this out. There's a lot of, the making of this one is pretty cool. You can see how
Nice.
I painted this one. Yeah. You can also hear it with music. Like the music is not playing here. I don't know why, but
That's okay.
check it out. When you check it out, you can hear with the music that inspired the drawing. It's pretty cool.
So I just have one last question, and I'll let you go because I know you gotta go to work. But yeah, like you mentioned before, that you have a friend that's going to do the coloring for you. Can you explain to them why is that sometimes something that it's done? Like,
Oh,
you know,
collaborations.
collaboration in terms of like, it's
Yeah.
your work, so why would you get somebody else to color it?
All right. These questions are so freaking good. Animation in general is a team. Is a teamwork. It's a teamwork. Comics also are teamwork. The difference with comics is that you can actually make it all yourself, and it's like making a movie all by yourself. But if you can, share the load with someone that's super talented and can help you achieve your dreams, it can help you achieve your vision, why not take it, you know? In my case, my friend Paula, I think she's amazing, you know. She's a great colorist, and I just knew that, you know, it would be a great opportunity for her to learn, and it would be a great opportunity for me to get her genius, her coloring sense into my comic. And also it would help me, because if I try to do it all by myself, I'm not finished, because I have to do the Granada too, and I have to do my day job too, and I have to do my freelance jobs, you know. Like, I have a bunch of things in my life going at the same time. I have a bunch of projects, and I want to do them all at the same time. And if I paint a comic too, I'm not gonna finish, because I write the comic, I draw it, I edit it, I make the word balloons, which is, it's very it's work intensive. You know, I do all these things, and I also have to paint it. You know, I could do it, but why not use a friend that's really super talented? And also, if I can pay her, even better, you know, because that's what I want to do. I like, one of my dreams is making like a legit studio. So, like, to me, there's no better feeling that actually, you know, providing work for your friends, for your talented friends, and also like making them grow. You know, see them grow, and in the end, you don't even notice it, but you are creating like a small industry. You know, because like here in Puerto Rico, there's no really comic or animation industry. It's starting right now. It's starting. So if I can put my little a grain, my little 2 cents, well, it's really good. So I would totally advise you guys to teamwork, collaborate with each other. Like, if you can go and see different animated projects from different animation schools, and most of the times it's teamwork. Like, they use, someone does the storyboards, someone does the character design, someone does the backgrounds. I usually do everything myself for the Granada, but it's just because the Granada is something very particular. But if I could, I would totally use a team. I would totally use a team like that. My dream is to actually have a team and do everything in teamwork. I want to show you actually Paula's. I want to show you Paula's Instagram, so you can also follow her. This is Paula's Instagram, Paula Marillo. A shout out to Polly. She's a great colorist, as you can see. Look at this, it's beautiful, you know. So like, why wouldn't I use her talents, like a teamwork. And I think it's also a very important thing that I've learned through the years is that if you can use your clout to uplift others, do it because you don't lose anything by helping others. And
You
it's
create a
it's
tribe. You literally create a tribe, and
yeah, it's,
at the
it's
end of the
great.
day, everybody could be your competition, or they could be your colleagues. Like
Exactly.
this becomes that, that
Yeah,
level of,
totally. And I
yeah.
love that's something that I noticed on the new generation, especially like in the Puerto Rico scene of the arts and stuff. Like this new generation, we're very focused on teamwork and collaboration, and I really like that because it makes us all grow. It's better that way. So guys, whenever you can, start collaborating with each other. Imagine that you're like the Avengers. Everyone has a special talent, and you just have to just make
Suit
that.
up.
Yeah, don't try to be like, oh, I need to be, I want to be the very best. Yeah, you can be the very best, but when you're mixing it with others that also want to be the very best, you just like this squad, and you're unstoppable, and it's just great, and it just helps you in the future because if your friend gets a great job, they can contact you, and you can just grow the network. It's very important that the networking thing. Like most people that go to art school, they're actually going because they're gonna network there. That's really the main
That's
reason.
the only difference, right?
Yeah, especially today with the internet, I I learned so many things from other artists on Twitter that sometimes I'm like, dude, I wouldn't have gone to art school if I just knew this. But like it's the relationships that you build and that network that you build, and just be cool. Just be a cool person, and just spread that love that you have for art. Spread it, in more ways. Like just be empathic with others and uplift each other, because that's the way that it will come back to you. I guarantee you, it will come back to you.
Thank you so much, Rangy. This has been really amazing, really informative also, and a great introduction to our next project. And again, I just want to thank you for, being here. You've just mentioned all the stuff you do, and you just came here and gave your time and took an hour off of work, and I mean, thank you so much. I'm pretty sure that all of these students are going to follow you pretty soon, and probably at some point there's collaboration, who knows. But yeah, I'm going to um, record. I already recorded this. I'm going to
Awesome.
upload it, going to share that with you, and as soon as they're done with their projects, I'm going to share that with you too, so you could see how you influence them and things like that. Okay, so
So
again,
yeah,
thank
I
you so
really
much.
want to see what you guys have in store. So please keep me posted. It's been an
Yay.
honor having this little time with you guys. So thank you for inviting me, Krisia.
Yeah, no problem. This has been amazing. Thank you so much. So yeah, I'll talk to you through Instagram, and I'll send you an email pretty soon, okay?
All right.
Thank you so much, Randy.
Well, guys,
Bye
Thank
bye.
see.
you.
See you.
Bye.